What up, world? What up, world? What up, YouTube? It's your boy, Talk. Right back at that ass again. Here's another one. Just gonna make this brief video, man. I made the Tupac hoax reveal, the video about the review I did on a Tupac's hoax video, and the brother posted a snippet of my video, pieces from it. He posted it up. Shout out to Tupac's hoax revealed. If you haven't checked out his channel, go ahead and do that, man. He has some, most of the stuff you hear about Tupac is on USA and things of that nature. But if you want a real analysis of the MC or CIA agent, quite possibly, check the channel out, man. But in any regard, man, I want to thank all the new subscribers. Thank everyone who's been leaving comments, especially those who have been leaving knowledgeable comments. I've had to check a few fools in the comment section. I want to make this one video, man. This will be the last. I know I keep saying this, man, but this will be the very last video about the Black Panther movie. Final video. I've talked about it with people at work, and if you like, you could check on the first video I made. A lot of people checked that out, man. I got a lot of flack for that because I said I went and checked out the movie, and I said I thought it was garbage. And I still hold that same feeling about it. I was talking to this girl in the bar about that movie, and her parents are from Africa. Yeah, she was a cutie, but I didn't go totally in. But she could tell, how I really felt about it. A little bit. I didn't let all my feelings be, I didn't put all of it on the table. But, quite frankly, man, my last video about it, because this is something I thought about a few days ago. And I mentioned in the movie about how I just thought it was just fluff, man. I didn't talk about the costumes or the acting. Sure, brother who played Killmonger, I think I've seen that brother in other movies, and he really did good in that. He was in, and she reminded me too. He was in that movie about the true story of Oscar Gant, or the brother who was killed, the young brother who was killed in Oakland by the police in 2009. I think it was called something Street, Great Berry Street, or something like that. But he played in that movie. He was good in that movie. That was through Netflix. I saw that movie through Netflix. He was good in that. But this movie, he took it to the next level. But you had some good actors. You had some good, costumes and things of that nature. I just thought that the movie didn't really make much sense. I didn't like the fact that the main character is African, even though I admit I wasn't into the Black Panther character, because even though I guess Black Panther has been a part of Marvel for quite some time, you barely hear of the character. When you hear, like when I was in high school, my man was big into Marvel and different characters. And, he liked Silver Surfer. And they used to talk about Magneto and pitching off Magneto and Silver Surfer. And people talked about, various characters in Marvel. No one ever talked about the Black Panther character. So I knew really nothing about it. I do know that Stan Lee came out with that character during the same year as the Black Panther Party movement, which I've been saying from day one in my movies that I believe he was inspired by the movement. And the girl in the bar was talking about the character, the writer of the movie is from Oakland. Maybe that's why the scene was shown in Oakland. But if you look at the movie, it keeps going back to Oakland. And I believe that's because, and the ghettos of Oakland, and that's because they know that's where the Black Panther Party was started. But I mean, you can check out my previous videos if you want to know more about what I think about that. But in this video, I just want to touch on. I think the main reason why people are talking about why didn't it come out during the Obama administration, and why did it come out during the Trump administration? Since Obama is African, it would have made more sense to have, this movie come out during his administration because the main character is an African, which I thought the main character should have been an American, a copper color Native American. But I think one of the main things they want to do in this movie is try to get blacks in America to believe that they do have some type of connection with Africa, meaning that blacks in this country are Africans. They've been trying to push this for a long time, since Jesse Jackson coined the term African American. Even before then, since the 1900s, I've been doing some research, and they've been trying to make blacks in this country think that they're Africans. They've been trying to do that for a long time, and some brothers and sisters are waking up. So I believe that's why they had this movie come out, where it's like Africans are admitting they were wrong by leaving us behind, and they went ahead and developed advanced technology and left us behind, and they were wrong for doing so. And I mean, the truth is, we're not Africans. We're native to this land. Our ancestors were here way before Columbus and those other pilgrims and other fools arrived. But yeah. So I think they want to try to get us back in that mindset to make us think. Because now, after the movie, I'm seeing blacks coming to work with the African attire on. One of the head bosses had a African shirt, and one girl had the African joint on. It's like, come on, man. And it reminds me back in the late 80s, early 90s, where the X Clan was out, and then they brought out the movie Malcolm X, and Back to Africa movement and all that nonsense. But my mother used to always say that too, man. Like, we're not African. I remember even my great grandmother had that braid going down her back. But I think they're trying to do the reemergence of that, especially now though, because back then in the 80s and 90s, your only way to get information was through watching TV or going to the library. The library is heavily controlled by the U.S. government. So is TV. So pretty much they're able to control that. But since the web, the internet, the World Wide Web exploded like wildfire, it's not really controlled yet. Now there is, government has placed certain sanctions, but it's not really controlled to the point to where they want it to be controlled. Otherwise, my video, a lot of other videos wouldn't be out there like that. But and anyhow, it's the type of thing where you can acquire more information. The world has gotten smaller. People that I would have never met, or people that I would have never been able to learn from, I can learn from them. They can learn from me. So we're all talking, having a dialogue. And we know that a lot of blacks are starting to realize that they're not Africans. They are in fact the Native Americans, the real Native Americans, who are native to this land. But I think that's one of the biggest things the movie did, man. I mean, and besides it, undermining the Black Panther Party that was in this country, besides, it made Black Americans look bad by trying to have Killmonger. He was a professional killer, but he also had a thug side. Tried to make him seem like he was just feeling sorry for himself. He represented the Black American. Trying to make him look bad and make it seem like the African should be the king. And then and people think that the movie is just made specifically off of the comic book, and there's other factors there as well, underlining factors. Pardon me while I take my 19 crimes break. Good shit right there. I think it's 19 grams. Yeah. Good red wine, Australian. But anyway, man, so I just want to point that out. But most importantly, like I said in my first 3 or 4 volumes, and I said in my first volume, I was expecting to see the main character be a Black American. Fuck the comic book. I was expecting to see, and I think I think, like I said in the first series, I think the movie undermined African Americans. It pit Africans, it put like Africans above the African, quote unquote, African Americans, but still below the rest of the westernized world by having the African not being able to tell a white detective that he had the technology in the first place. It also made the Africans look like monkeys. So even though it put the African above the African American, if you watch the movie, you see the cave scene where the ladies go to the cave people in the mountains to help them defeat Killmonger, the outsider, and basically they were like monkeys. So it just it reinforced the negative stereotype. They reminded me of the Planet of the Apes with Caesar and Cobra. But ultimately I think they also are trying to make blacks in this country, natives of this country, think that they're Africans. And that way, of course, you won't go for your reparations. You won't try to get your land back. Things of that nature. So, again, my last series on the Panther Party, or not the Panther Party, but the Black Panther movie. Just wanted to lay that out there, man. A lot of blacks are thinking that they're African. I see blacks after they watch the movie, you could tell, because they'll come to work with the African, attire and all that. And it's like, man, you're not African. And I've talked to Africans, and man, I was like, and growing up, I used to believe that too. Like I was a African American, because Jesse Jackson really pushed that in the 80s. And it was a white guy who pushed it way before him, but I think he coined the term, or created the term, African American, which is no such thing. Pretty much is like you're putting African, which is a continent, and then American, a country. So what is it? Dual citizenship. But I mean, it's crazy. I never thought about it until brothers on the net start breaking it down. But in any event, blacks, you're not the brothers in this country, brothers and sisters in this country that are copper colored. You're not Africans. You don't have any connection to Africa. You're native to this land, and so are our ancestors. And as it's all over YouTube, man. They said very few of all of the actually we weren't slaves, we were indentured servants. But every movie they come out with, they say 12 years a slave. It's talking about us coming over on ships and things of that nature, which I think is also fictitious. Just like they pretend that the original Native Americans are white people with red skin, white people with bad tans. But yeah, man. So my last video on this, I'm gonna keep this short. But I think ultimately that's what the movie was trying to do, was trying to brainwash. Because they know, certain blacks are starting to wake up, and they're just trying to make blacks in this country think that they're Africans, and continue to brainwash the blacks in this country, making us think that we're Africans instead of Native Americans. So yeah. So be sure to like, subscribe, share, and be safe out there, alright? It's your boy Author, and I'm out. Next video is probably going to be about battle rap. I just want to say a few things about that. Alright, later.